dunk it in the pond on 9 or not?
No, he didn't go in. He had a pool right up in the throat for him. 9, the one where you're going right back at the clubhouse.
You know, short part, three, performing.
I hit that left bunker.
Oh, that's right. He did go in.
Left green side bunker, yeah.
Well, that's
They
a
make
good
you go
shot.
out blue
Yeah,
and
that's-
black.
I was like, I'm gonna go with that bunker, and if it cuts, good. I'm staying away from it. That thing was, if I tried to hit, like, if I would have aimed at the green, that thing would have been God knows where. But I aimed at the bunker, I hit the bunker.
Form's 4, right?
Yeah, Milan's on his way, but we can go ahead and get going. I think he didn't say how long it's gonna be.
Well, then we just go right ahead and call the meeting to order. And. Looking at the wrong button here. That's-
Pretty reading.
Apparently Dale's not gonna make it, so we will go past public comments and go with announcements. And anybody have anything they would like to comment? Last 5 weeks.
Yeah, well, for the next 5 weeks, I got something. First tee, you know, they opened, they had their not the groundbreak, their ribbon cutting ceremony last week. So they're officially open, and he has asked me if you guys would be interested in hosting one of our board meetings in the new facility. We could do the next meeting in June or the one in August. They've got a boardroom in there. It'd be good, kind of, we get there a few minutes early maybe, or stick around a couple minutes afterwards and tour the place. Yeah, Trent reached out and he wanted to extend that invitation, so.
So our June meeting is on.
I want to say 17th, but I'm gonna, yeah, 17th or August 19th.
I wrote down on the 17th. And we don't. Oh, wait. June or July, you said?
June, no. We can do June 17th. We can't do July, or we can do August 19th.
I see. I'm good either one.
You guys want to do the next one? Want to do June?
Oh, I hear a motion to go to 17. That's fine with me.
Yep. Oh, hey, Milan.
You'll send us some reminder about that, won't you? Because otherwise I'll remember to cross down.
So Milan, we just started. The next meeting, I think we're going to do it at the new First Tee building in their boardroom. He's wanted me to extend the invitation to the board to have the poster meeting there and take a little tour of the facility. So
Very nice. Yeah, I went to the grant to the,
you did, okay.
yeah,
Cool.
very nice.
Okay.
People there.
You know, first tee curiosity, I stopped by Mac and it was really wet out, obviously, whenever it was Monday. Did they control the driving range or did we control the driving?
No, we control.
Because they were shut down. I mean, obviously, I didn't.
Yeah, we control it. When they have programming that's big enough, we'll shut it down to the public for their programming, but we control whether it's open or not.
Okay, all right. I'm just kind of curious.
Yeah.
Because the first tee there.
Plus, it's kind of funny because at 8:30 in the morning and people are waiting out for the snow. Sometimes.
That's a problem not for them. That's a problem on our part. We should be opening that, so. Now, if they may have programming coming up at 9 or something, and we, you know, I mean, when they have programming, shut it down an hour beforehand. So if they have early programming that we want to, and we try to post that schedule many places we can. It's all over the clubhouse, it's on the machine. And it changes month to month. That's our programming changes each month. So
The token has to be purchased in the pro shop, right?
you can use a credit card at the machine or tokens in the.
Oh, okay, I didn't know.
Yep.
Again, I haven't been through it since it was done.
Yeah, no, it has a credit card reader. And so you can purchase it, the balls at the machine, or you can go to the clubhouse and get tokens, either way. Yeah. And we just had a record this month is $13,000 went through that credit card machine, not counting the tokens inside. And that's with programming going full force. So yeah, it's yeah.
Nice.
A lot of people down there. Yeah.
All right. Any further announcements or questions? The past 5 weeks.
I will say, I guess this kind of goes here. It's been nice the last 3-4 weeks. It's been the best period since I've been here of the least complaints and the most compliments. It's been, yeah, I really have not, I don't feel like I've gotten a complaint other than something crazy, you know, but yeah, just, I mean,
stuff.
you know, last year was he, most of them get to him before they get to me, so he gets them all too. Last year was rough, but this year so far, I mean, the guys are doing a good job on the courses, and we got momentum. It's been a lot better.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
I was surprised. I played the sim today. In that rockball tournament they had, the guys did. But anyways, with all the work that was done over there, I was surprised how good it still was. I mean, we didn't appear to lose a lot of turf or anything due to that construction. And everything looks clean after they put everything in. I mean, you don't see a lot of ruts from where the digging was, and they rolled back all the pull spots. I mean, they got all that back where it's pretty smooth.
Especially around the street.
Yeah, well, I've seen lots and lots of places where they put them in and the heads are too high or too low, and I didn't see many of those. So
Now that company's been very impressive. They've been very easy to communicate with. They've done a great job, and I know Darren, he's been tied into that project more than he wants to. So he's not happy with the way the course is right now. So he's finally getting to the end of that where he can put his focus on the course where it should be. So I know he's ready to. It's not bad. Of course, it's not bad right now, but I know he's got big plans on now that he has water everywhere. So I'm pretty excited.
that's just a comment I had for rare times I get to play much anymore. Okay, no other public comments. We move to approve or disapprove. If anybody has any amendments in the last 2 months' minutes, I'll entertain a hear that. If not, I'll entertain a motion to adopt both April and March minutes.
I'll move to, except as they were printed, yeah, as they were distributed,
Yeah,
both March and
get
April.
a second.
I'll second.
All in favor, aye? Aye. Motion carries 5-0.
Hold on.
All right, moving on. We're going to get into the finance and rounds update. Looking at this, I think we're doing pretty well.
Yeah, so the finances that I sent out, the financial report, this that's in front of you, that only goes through April. I'll get into May in just a second. Everything right here just goes through, that's good, yeah. Just goes through April. And then, so let me do that and then we'll expand kind of over the last few weeks. So going through April, again, remember January and February, we had no play. So we were closed, I think, all but 6 days or something. So all in all, this is rounds year to date. We are about 10,000 behind, and that all pretty well came from those first 2 months of play into March a little bit. And we've had a little rain this year, what we did last year. So the one thing that we're not going to be able to catch up with the number of rounds. We were so busy last year, we can't create new rounds, but it's the other stuff, and we'll talk about it. I'm not worried. I don't really care about the number of rounds. I care about where we end up with the revenue and everything else. So April rounds, looking at those alone, we're just barely behind. We had a couple of rain days, and one day right now we're doing anywhere from 800 to 1,100 rounds of golf. So 2 rain days is 2,200 rounds potentially. So not worried about that. Cart rentals, we're slowly chipping back away, catching up from being behind last year. So we're close. We're 24,000 down, but each month we're catching up, and we'll talk about May in a second. Food and beverage, same thing. Everything's, if you take January, February out, we're beating last year, but with those in, we're still trying to dig out that hole that we started in. If I'm going too fast, you have questions, stop me. Driving ranges are, even with the weather we had, we're up a little bit. $63,000 already just through April. That's basically March, April. So that's very happy with that so far. And then merchandise, we're doing okay. So total revenue, we were going into May, we were $143,000 behind where we were at last year. Let's skip forward here. Yeah, okay. So $143,000 behind. We're at, in April, we did 628. Year to date, we're at 1.6. Last year, this time we were at 1.65. Last year, we were at about 1.8. So let me kind of skip this next slide and go here. Just looking at May, Last year for the entire month, we did $700,000. This year through about noon today, we were at 774. We've got 3 big days. We're going to probably do 840,000. So at the end of this month, we will have caught up and passed last year to date. This month will be the biggest month we've ever had. I think the biggest month we've had is 804,000. We're going to be 35,000 above that this month. So revenue this month has been superb. It's been great. And it's not just the number of rentals are changing. We're spending getting a lot more revenue from the food and beverage. The driving range is doing well. All the events, all the other stuff that we're really pushing it. And you add all those things together, 20,000 here, 20,000 there, and I'm very happy with where we're headed. So,
Before we move on, question, I just look at the depiction of the golf cart. Do you think we're gonna be able to make the 5 years on the lease on that, or are we looking at maybe going earlier to trade up, or where are we at on that in terms of?
we have that option, and they're now, when we first got these carts, it was coming out of COVID and it was a year wait. That's not the case anymore. So basically, if we get to a point where we'll monitor the carts, they're doing pretty well. The company that repairs them does a great job. There's no major issues, and if there are, they're fixed within a week or two. But if with the play that we're getting, if we're 3.5 years in, when they start looking a lot worse, we have that option anytime.
And I really haven't seen a whole lot of seats you have to split on yet, or anything that doesn't make it around
Right.
relatively easy. I was just curious. We were looking to.
I mean, the main thing we have now, the tie rods break. You see where the front tire will be turned out, and they fix that. It's $160. They fix that. That happens once a week.
Who's listening to?
It's a company called Toy Factory. So Massive Golf Cars, Yamaha, they contracted them as the maintenance for the city golf courses. And if you pass, when you go down to
Here, right?
yeah, they got that. They do custom carts and all that, but they're great. Yeah, I mean, I can call them, and most of the time they'll say, we'll have it done by this afternoon. I mean, they're really, really good. So,
But Apple brings out, we'll see that's use sometimes.
it could be a lot of different
You
things.
can have those where you get a drop off in the path, and if somebody does that, you can actually bend a tire on right there.
Yeah. And we've actually, we do the card slips now. If you play and put your number, you sign that deal, whatever, saying you're responsible for it. That's how we've recouped a lot of money for the repairs. Yeah, we're chasing down a couple people right now, but yeah, for the most part, it's not been a big problem. So, and the maintenance contract covers normal wear and tear. So all that's covered. It's just if it's obvious neglect, someone ran into a tree head first, whatever. So, yeah, pretty happy with that.
Gas carts tend to have a problem starting, because as they wear out, this ignition systems start failing and the gases, they tend to get a little erratic, but I haven't had a cart that's happened to at all. They're all good and responsive.
Yeah, I know. So far, so good. I don't want to jinx it, but we've had pretty good luck so far.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, if we get to that point and they're getting more out and we decide we want to go ahead and roll into a new fleet, we can do that. Okay. Now, we would have to get with Yamaha and see what it looks like, but we could do that. And we could do one course, not the other, however we want to do it. So, go back a slide, our project funds. I think the last meeting we had voted on transferring some of the funds over. We got all that ready for council. I was ready to go to the council meeting and then found out from finance that that's not necessary, which
We could move it.
which is kind of what we thought, but I was told differently. And then the head of finance called me and said, don't do this. Like you're fine. We'll take care of it. That's the whole point of this, is to give you that flexibility. So, we haven't moved it, but I can move it whenever. But so the main bucket still hasn't been touched. It's still right at 140,000. Cart fund is doing great. Equipment fund, we've purchased a couple of little pieces of equipment. We're getting into a pretty good spot with the equipment. There's nothing major that we need. It's just as things wear out now, instead of trying to complete the fleet of equipment, it's just we got an old piece that we need to replace. We've really kind of caught up in where we need to be there. So that's good. Clubhouse fund still got 47,000 there. We had replaced air conditioning unit here and at Tex last month. So that was 20,000 essentially between those two. Then the grounds fund, that 12,000 includes the 30,000 that we did. If you saw when you pulled in, we just started the mats. So they just dug the strip, they'll form it, pour the concrete tomorrow, and then by the end of June, the mats will be up and ready to go. They want that concrete to set for 20 days, which is, I think it took that long, but I'm not gonna argue with a guy that does it for a living. So, so altogether, we're at 1.79. Of course, a big chunk of that's the car fund, but,
Little query, curiosity, on the equipment, Jason, has he managed to acquire all the necessary tools that he needs?
yeah, we got him.
Got that taken care
We
of?
got him the truck, which has been good, and we got it clear where he can take it home, so he's not spending 30 minutes going to Mac, pick up the truck to go to Texas. He can drive it home every night. We had to put a GPS tracker in it, which is good. Yeah, he's got the tools. He's kind of got that truck built out with everything he needs, and then each course has, a good amount of tools, and then the stuff that he needs that's specific.
Specialist stuff,
Yeah.
he's better able to acquire it.
Yeah.
Going forward.
And he's got a portable welder. He's a magician with that thing. He's used that so many times. So he's been, I could not have hired a better person, Jason. He's great. So, and he's not only the equipment, I mean, we'll have the nets. He welded all those together because the way they came didn't work. And then he'll fix a fence. I mean, just whatever you need. And he does it just so fast and it's perfect when he gets done. So really, really happy we got him.
Did he, I know he joined the association, did he get into that certified program yet?
No, we are, he is going to go to a conference I'm looking at in September that has some specialty classes for that, but the one in Toro, literally when we found out, we called it in school. So we're on a waiting list, but we're not at the top of the waiting list. So, yeah. But he had a ton of mechanic experience, not so much golf experience.
Yeah.
He picks it up so fast and figures it out. So he's doing great. Yeah. Let's all say this. Sorry, kind of jump around. A couple of things I'll mention real quick. Last Saturday, I know Mike and Malad, you guys came out. I appreciate it. We had the Golfer Appreciation Day. A couple of pictures there. Doing it on graduation day did have a huge impact on it. Everyone told me they couldn't come because of graduation, but still a good turnout. I think we had 400 or something names on the, maybe I'm making that up. I don't know. We had a good turnout. Couple of pictures here of how it looks. It's right when we were just getting everything set up. It was good. The band played throughout. The food truck was great. Got a ton of comments on it. We had the sloth out there. We had a penguin. I had they bring some big turtle and this snake lizard. It was half snake, half lizard. It was a lizard with ears and no legs. Fascinating. So,
Real animal?
Huh?
A real animal?
Yeah. Tinka came out and so
Thing.
Tinka came out and
It was weird looking.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one of, I think it's
So it's that.
Right.
it's one of Mike's relatives. I don't know. Bamboo, so had a drone come out and take some pictures. Here's some of the vendors that we had come out. They had a booth set up all over. So I got a lot of really good feedback and definitely want to thank Trevor or Sydney. Just the staff here that helped put it together. Jason volunteered to come out. He was here all day helping with set up and tear down the thing. So it was good. It was a fun day. Any questions on the finance board? I kind of on down the road there, but good. Well, here I'm just different. Talk a little bit about marketing and food and beverage real quick. So I'll let Trevor take off.
Yeah, so all I did was go back on our Facebook views, and from January 1st to May 28th, 2024, we just had 55,000 views on all of our posts. In that same time span this year, we've amassed 1.2 million views. So it's been going really good.
So how did you increase it?
I was gonna say, what do you attribute that to?
Jesus, I didn't see that.
Just getting tons of stuff out. And those are
I'm seeing that number.
That's why my phone gets blown up too.
But yeah, that's a culmination of all the posts. They're not unique. So that could be five, but one person contributing 10 or 15 or 20 views to our profile. So it's just every time someone sees it go through their while they're scrolling, whatever, that counts as a view.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Which reminds me, I did look up. I got on and I was checking for car traffic on Tuesday to whether I go over to text and play with the guys or not. And they had it on there, cart path only, but they were the only course listed that way.
Are you talking about when you're booking your tea times
Just checking.
on just the course
Yeah.
conditions?
Yeah.
You figured out how to do that?
Don't get off. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I like that though. That was pretty bad. He's a bleeder, I think.
You can get on an app with dial-up internet.
That's good.
So,
Keep it up.
What's the process on that? I mean, does the
Updating
groundskeeper
course
need, how does it get updated
I'm
So-
assuming
on short notice like that?
somebody's got posted.
It's just a website that I go to at 5 a.m. I'll get text from all the supers letting me know what the plan is for the day. And if it changes, they just send me a text. And as soon as I can, I get it updated. It might have been a situation where I probably wasn't up yet. Sounds like you're there pretty early.
That it's pretty commonplace. The text does it, nobody else does.
Well, Steve has access to it. And the reason Steve has access, because he's like, man, he gets up at 4:30 every morning. So he's already up. He goes to the gym. So if somebody texts him, he has access to change it as well. So Steve probably did his own that day. And then
Didn't
at
hear it.
9:30 when he woke up. I got the-
It's pretty commonplace. Whenever I check that text is on there, they
Yeah.
tend to do it all the time and nobody else. So,
They're also quickest to close the range.
well, they are very clear about cart path only.
Yeah, they're too quick.
And I was well aware of that when I checked, knowing I probably wouldn't play. So,
But to answer your
Anyway.
question, it's Steve Rock.
okay. Well,
I guess that's what I was wondering is if is there no way the pro or the super could just do that themselves so that it doesn't take a chain of command?
Here's the problem. When you get access to that, give access to that many people, they have access to everything.
I didn't know if it could be restricted to
No,
just that.
no, we've tried.
It's all or nothing.
Totally get that.
Yeah. Even like the events, the leaderboard and all that, I want them to have access to that, but if I give them access to that, they have the whole thing,
So
which I'm
they
not
should.
saying they would go and do it,
No,
but you get that many hands in there or something gets clicked, yeah, you're on the wrong page, you don't realize it, yeah.
they got access to his email, all right?
Yeah, they can all reach me.
So send out a memo or something, suggest that when the superintendents get there, they're gonna go to cart path, give him a little text or something.
Oh, that's what we did. That's what we did.
Yeah,
Well, at least one of them.
yeah.
You might look at making an agent that you could use to provide that bubble in the specific areas.
Um,
I just was gonna mention it.
yeah, no, I mean, most of the time it's probably on me. I don't get to the office till about 8.
Oh, my goodness, middle of the day.
It's 4 hours before bed.
Oh, and then the same thing. So from January 1 to May 28th is the sample size. So in 2024, food and beverage, this is all concessions, beer, drinks, food. It was just under $68,000 in that same time span. Sorry, this is just May.
I was about to say.
Yeah, May 1 to May 28th of 2024 against 2025. So I believe that's about a 30% increase. But as you saw on the other slides, we're still kind of fighting the battle up the hill for the food and bev still, but we're getting there.
So with this month, at the end of the month, we'll be caught up probably a little ahead of last year for the year, because I think we were. Oh, come on, real quick. We will earn. Just there, 17,000, and we're 21,000 up over this month, so we're gonna be ahead. By the end of May, or right now, we're ahead, so. Yeah, that's good, and we continue, so the biggest battle we have this time of the year is getting seasonal employees. They get out of school. Once they apply, there's 4 weeks before they start. They just all started hitting the courses this week. I'm sure you've done a ton of all that. So on the maintenance side and in the clubhouses, we've got new employees everywhere, which were desperately needed. And a big problem with trying to get bev cards out, trying to be consistent with the food is you gotta have people to do it. And now we're just getting everybody trained so we can do that. And I think this number will just keep continuing to go up. So, Well, customer service.
Sure, I have a few updates. Speaking of new hires, they've been ramping up. So I've been spending time with everybody that I get in front of house, talking about, park and ride policies, dress code. We do a short customer service training about like cell phone use, customer interactions, expectations of us. Speaking of that as well, uniforms have been doing great everywhere that we pop up. Everybody's been wearing their uniforms, and we've got tons of compliments from everybody saying that everybody's branded and it looks really nice. So that's been good, and including name tags. So that's been awesome. Jesse and Trevor and I yesterday did quarterly walkthroughs at McDonald and Sim. We're gonna do text in here next tomorrow or sometime this week. We're seeing overall really great things. The clubhouses look good. The courses are looking good. The employees are doing great. And then last month, Michael and Trevor and I, and Jesse as well, also did customer service training here at Auburn Hills. And we went over customer service skills with me, and then Trevor did a food and beverage training as well. And that was really successful. So things are good on my end.
So she mentioned the quarterly walkthroughs. It's something we're gonna start doing every quarter, and I would love if you guys, I'll let you know when we're gonna do the next round if you want to be part of that. Basically what we do, we walk out all the way out of the parking lot on foot and then walk in like it's the first time we ever seen it. We're looking at curb appeal, we're looking at everything, making the notes for the first two courses. I got a million things that we're gonna knock out, but just looking for anything we can do so when someone pulls into the parking lot for the first time and then they walk into the building, that we can make it better. So the more eyeballs we have, and I mean, we see them every single day. It's hard. Everything starts to just not exist when you see it every single day. So I'll send out those schedules, especially if it's at Sim and you're the representative there, Auburn, whatever. Mac, I'd love to have you guys be a part of that. Just kind of help put eyeballs. We're not trying to attack the staff and call them out on stuff. We're just trying to improve. So, and I've got a little scoring system for scoring, and I'm going to come up with some way for the high scoring course to win something. So, okay. Any questions about anything? Have you noticed the uniforms as you've been
Oh,
out?
yeah.
It looks good. That's a little, you know who works there now, so.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that is it all we have on here. Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
Continuation of prior business, Auburn Fairway update.
Yep, we, Rick.
I'm gonna run.
T-Town.
Hopefully I don't get my big toe chopped off tomorrow. I got a infected ingrown toenail.
Oh,
It's very-
That's ouchie.
I don't think it's on camera. I don't need to talk about that. What we do at Fairways. So we, the plan was this past Tuesday, we were going to get the sod and redo 18 in a few places for multiple reasons. We postponed that a couple of weeks. The fairways here, they're not terrible right now. They've actually came back a lot better than what we expected, especially from last year. There's still spots, don't get me wrong. But so now the plan, we're going to get through the Corn Ferry qualifier, which is on the 16th, and probably prep the fairways on the 17th and have the sod on the 18th put down. And we're looking at number 18, about 0.8 acres on number 18, and then a few spots that we've identified throughout the course, but they're much smaller than what we expected. On that note, we have secured nearly 2 acres. I think that's where we're going to land of zoysia sod. So we're looking at using a little bit of that sod to redo 2 of the tee boxes at Sim. That is what
9.
9, 1, I think the back of 13, wasn't it?
13. That's right. Yep. Sorry. So we'll reuse some of that there, and then we want to at Tex on the back of the driving range. We're on the north side of the driving range. Yeah. We're going to build a nursery there with that sod and expand it so that when we any course when we need it, we have that nursery in place. So that would be very, very helpful. I know as we start a lot of these bunker projects, we're wanting to put zoysia around the faces of the bunkers. So we would have that nursery to be able to do that, and not rely on having to find it and all that. So, at
How
the
many
end,
acres is that, what's the tax?
it depends on how much we use, everything that's left out of the nearly 2 acres that we get. So I'm assuming probably, I don't know, 0.7 of an acre, I would think would be the nursery. And that's pure like this. So we got to measure and get all that done. So the sod shop, they haven't given me an exact amount of what's there. So we're going to take everything they have, and they think it's around 2 acres. That's what he told me, but they were going to measure, and I haven't gotten it yet. So, but we want everything we can get while we can get it. So, the other thing about the Auburn Fairways starting on in about 2 weeks, I don't remember the exact day, around the 12th or something. They're going to start the companies, the contracted guy's going to come out and start airifying the fairways. So they're going to pull plugs, open up these fairways. Hopefully, Mike and I just kind of did a ride around before this meeting, and they do look a lot better. We still have the zoysia seed heads that are sprouted, so they have like a reddish look to them, kind of a brownish reddish look when you look from a distance. But when you get up there, it's just those seed heads. That'll slow down here pretty soon, but there's still some areas where you can tell it's pretty tight. Some of the areas that were really bad last year that have filled in, still it's a little weak right there in some of those areas. So I think opening that up is going to help tremendously with these fairways where they should be. And Mike, I don't think he'd been out in a while. He saw some improvement, but we don't want to. When talking, I don't want us to get in the mindset of, well, they're okay. It's good enough. Like, we don't want good enough. We want as good as we can get. So that's not just here. So I think getting that.
False drilling that was done on it. What, was that right, or was that?
That was right. Yeah. That was kind of a temporary, because we didn't know at that point what the long-term plan was, but we could at least have grass there pretty quick. So we've done it. It fills in from a distance. 18 really doesn't look bad now, where it all used to look 40, but that's not going to last. That route burning. So, yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with Auburn, the way it's started to turn the corner and come back around. And I think those two things, put the new sod on 18 and then opening up the fairways, is going to make a big difference. And the way that we're going to do when he comes out to do the fairways, it's kind of a month-long process. We're having to work around his schedule. I mean, every course in the city uses this guy, and we're kind of the last minute addition. So he's doing 3 or 4 days in a row, and then he'll come back a week later and do 4 or 5 days in a row, basically a fairway or 2 per day. So it'll be over a few week period, but I think
the fairway gets shut down for a time.
Yeah, we'll work with him and coordinate exactly how that needs to happen. There's potential. Yeah, we'll have to.
If you don't shut it down, you just magnifies the time frame.
Yeah,
So the best thing is whatever particular hole he's on, shut it down while it does it.
Is it just shut down for a day or?
No, it doesn't take a day to do fairway.
Oh, that's what I was.
No, it would just be short periods of time.
Just-
Otherwise, he's going to go 100 yards, pull over, let a group go through.
Oh.
Come back, do 100 yards, and you'd never get it done. So,
You end up with those little pluggy things.
Actually, solid time,
yeah, I say he's pulling.
basically solid time, which is time, I assume it's probably 5/8. I don't know what you mean. 3/4 to 5/8. And it just goes in and cracks. But when they go in, they also do this and then pull back out. So you get a fracture down underneath the ground where you're at the top, it's just a hole, but on the ground, the fracture gets more.
It doesn't pull the plug up. And
No, it's not pulling it. I mean, it'll rough it up a little bit, obviously, because it's got to go in and come out.
sure.
But basically roll it or something and it'd be back playable.
Gotcha.
Oh, okay.
I think I said full points and how to have it, but yeah, he's kind of funny. Right here, he's doing 3/4 inch.
3/4.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you have anything to add on that, but I think it's going to make a big
think it-
improvement.
Take a good look and check at the machine and versus cost, and it might be cost effective to invest in the machine if you think that's what we want to do. I mean, obviously it works at every golf course. It isn't just here. I mean, and if it proves out to be advantageous as we think it will be, which it should be, because it's a cultural practice, it should be going on all the time anyway. So,
So this should be done at least every year.
oh yeah, it should be. So
I remember.
some
Courses were
places
done.
do it 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
Yeah, that's something.
but it, the machines, they're pretty expensive. I don't know what they are now, probably somewhere between 80 and 100,000.
That's right.
But if you're paying $12,000 pop, or what is that?
At her course, if we did, I mean, you're looking at 2
2 year
years.
payback on it, so.
Yeah.
Now, that's tough on them, so you gotta get a machine that's not wore out. Basically, you need to start with a good one, because they get thumped. Anytime you're penetrating like that, and that machine starts jumping around, things can happen to it, so.
Gotcha.
Please don't run over the sprinkler heads, right?
No, you prefer not to.
That's frowned upon, yeah.
There are some places where you go, you see that little round hole on top of the head, you don't know what happened to it. So, no, most places do it as a cultural practice, but with the fact that we've always been behind in time trying to get equipment to operate with, we're buying greens mowers, hoping, there aren't 25 years old stuff we're replacing, but we'd do the acting board, however it is, green feature, whatever the reason is, we're like Jesse suggested, we're getting a heck of a lot further down the line and catching up with equipment than we ever had.
Well, Reggie just came and I guess he thought the front door was locked. I don't know how
The front door is locked. I tried it.
I think it sticks for them. I've got somebody coming to look at it. Okay.
So that's a good idea, how he knows it needs to be fixed.
Right, yeah.
So it's, yes.
Okay. So yeah, the next 4 or 5 weeks, there's gonna be a lot happening to the fairways that I think will really make it. That's here. So if we're good, I'll roll into the next item as the project updates. We kind of put this together that I want to put out so everybody can kind of see. I want to make everyone aware of some of the plans that we're doing so they know what's happening. But I'll just kind of bounce around here. Let me start at Sim. The irrigation, everything's done. They've completely switched over to the new system. We have a little issue with the pump, and it's not really an issue. It just needs to dumb it down where I can understand it needs to be reprogrammed. The RPMs is not rubbing up the way it needs to be for the system. So that they got the well company coming out. It's gonna be early next week. They're gonna tweak it and set it up the way it should be set up. So it operates this system the way it should. So once they do that, then we're gonna do a final walkthrough with all the companies involved, where we're turning on every head. We're signing off that it's working exactly like we want. That's gonna take a while. And then from there, it's a lot of training and but I mean, there's always going to be with a project like that, there's always going to be some hiccups, but not hiccups, just some learning curve. And that's kind of the state we're in right now. But I'm very optimistic once all that's done, that we're going to be in a very, very good spot there. The hitting bays are done other than the padding. And then his next thing, other than just course conditions overall, we're going to start on the bunker renovations, and he's got a few new people. He's got a new greenskeeper that'll be coming on board probably next week, I would say. So I feel like that's been a couple weeks ago. So probably next week, and then we're going to start on just really reworking the bunkers and get them where they should be, as well as the sod on the tee boxes on those 2 holes, maybe 3 holes. What else it's in?
Along with the bunker renovations, is that one on that we turned into a grass bunker on the right side of 16? And is there more going to be done to that?
We'll probably, I mean, it's going to be a grass bunker, but yeah, now that we have irrigation that's working correctly, we'll be able to do something better with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
At Sims, are there gonna be any additions to the rough area? How do we got it?
What would be? I didn't mean to step on you there. The 16th hole.
Yeah.
What's the chances of I know this is a stretch, getting forestry outfit or somebody to come in there and trim up those elm trees where they're not laying on the ground up there.
16 up there.
The thing's washed out, the roots are down, you can't, I mean, it's impossible.
It's impossible.
Where you could, get enough sunshine in there to actually grow a little turf in there and I don't know, check that, go up there and check that when you go out, look at the course, because it's terrible.
It is terrible.
You just don't want the ball up there, right?
We play it,
I don't, but it's,
we not play it, it's ground under repair, but we say, I don't care where you are in it, you can come out to the fairway side,
Yeah.
because it'd be crazy to be strict about the rules and have to go up on the tree side,
Yeah.
because it's horrible.
yeah, it's impossible to play, actually.
It is.
I mean, you can't even hit a running shot because the roots are sticking up far. above the ground.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's terrible.
Okay.
But all the tree limbs are hanging down like this, so it's impossible to
You
grow
can't
turf
see that.
out there
You can't go
because
under
it's
it.
total shade it all.
Can't go under, you can't go over, you can't- yeah.
And what did you say about the rough now?
Yeah, it sounds the rough, now that we've got, irrigation, we're gonna reseed some of that rough, some of the areas is
It's pretty,
dirt.
put pure dirt,
Yeah.
I gotcha.
dirt with a clump in the middle of it.
If it's. Without being there, I would say if it's part of the whole, yeah, we'll look at that. Some of the areas in between the
No,
irrigation.
I'm talking about
it's part of the whole.
part of the-
You
yeah.
can be this far off into the rough and be on solid dirt
Yeah.
with a clump of grass in front of your
And
ball.
that's the kind of stuff that he is not happy about right now. So it's just been-
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I just didn't see that on the list, so.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, there's a lot more than what's just up there, but yeah. That would be probably a seeding. I have to talk to him and see exactly what his plan would be, but yeah.
Part of the planning, after we get the irrigation and everything operable, we see where the damage is. We've already made arrangements to rent a Sprigger again, so areas like that, we can go in there and maybe sprig them in and we'll hopefully, knock on wood, that it'll help to rectify some of that, but
Yeah,
the
the rough,
perception of the
rough
rough
is
at
great,
Tim
yeah.
Park is always gonna be sandy because there's a point there where we can't afford to put water. It's that simple. So as long as you keep it in that corridor, that's a golfing corridor,
Sure.
it will be fairly decent.
I don't think anybody'd have a problem with that.
absolutely, absolutely. Like I say, we wouldn't be, sprigging the rough, that's more, what is that?
Well, I mean, if you got adequate water out there, there's no reason we can't sprig the roughs, assuming it's not under a tree.
Right.
So, I mean, it's the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so, Sam going to Mac, we, meeting with him tomorrow in the morning to kind of finalize the final bunker plans. I know we drove around that day. Robert, you joined us. We took a ton of notes and, we kind of put all that together. He's been working on pricing and like the expense and all that, but, so a lot of that stuff we can go ahead and start moving on in-house. He's got staff finally, he's got a few new people on, so, be doing that. I don't know if everyone's played Mac recently, but man, what a difference from last year to this year. It's it's not perfect by any means, but it's a totally different golf course than what it was last year. The fairways are good, and I've had more. I can't tell you how good it feels to get a compliment about Mac after last year. Last year, a lot of people just said I'm not playing there anymore because it's bad. Now there was a Facebook post that one of the coaches made saying it's the best they've seen it in years, and the comments, there's 20 comments underneath there saying they've never seen it this good and it's the best course in town now and all this. So really, really good to see that course turn around. Addition of trees, we are gonna look, so it's funny, right after we met, we were trying to figure out what to do. Forestry called, they've got several trees that were purchased that they can't plant because of the water restrictions. And they're gonna end up losing the trees, so they were wanting to know what we could take. They've got about 400 trees done, several different kinds. We are going to put some of those trees in that area to protect that tee box. So, yeah, if you're not familiar with it, driving range, if anybody hits one right, it's going right and people teeing off all four. So, we're gonna do that. We don't fall under those restrictions as a golf course, so that's why they're like, you have the ability right now to not break any rules and plant trees. So, we're also looking at some of those at Tex too. He's identified about 20 spots that he'd like to put some trees at Tex. So we're going to use quite a few of them. And then at Mac, we, Robert and officer, they we did the walkthrough yesterday. I called laughing today. He let me know that they went on their own and edged the curb on the parking lot and did some stuff out there. And it's funny because yesterday, every note I had was edge the parking lot, paint the curb, pretty much everything that they did today. It was on the notes to do. So we identified a ton of stuff. One thing I want to do in the parking lot is put some type of fence around the dumpster. When you pull into that parking lot, it's the first thing you see. So we're going to enclose that. So I'm going to look into that tomorrow. Just some little things like that around the clubhouse. And then we're going to wait, that's what I'm looking at. We're going to try to paint the wood around the building. So I was told we tried to do that last year and they said it's lead paint. And to paint that, you'd have to shut the place down. We have to come out in hazmat suits and cost $8 billion. Well, then I saw a video from 2008 where all the wood was green on the outside of the building. Well, that can't be, you know what I mean? Like that, it's something. So I'm going to revisit that and get somebody else out to look at it because, yeah, I'd never seen it. It was some video I just happened to come across on YouTube and it was green. I'm like, well, that was just a few years ago. There's no way that's right. So I'm gonna get back into that and see if we can get that done because a lot of that paint just around the frame, the facial board, and around the windowsills is terrible. So if we can do that, that building would look a lot better. We're gonna restrap that parking lot. The three of us are gonna go out and remulch and go through those flower beds. Put new mulch in the flower beds. I'm going to get with somebody, or maybe you are both good at selecting things to put in a flower bed. I'm not. Okay. So I'll get with you. That'd be great. We'll put them in the ground. Just point that one and put it there, and we'll do the work. Yeah, we got here. Yeah. So with Mac, and then again, ton of little things, but that's the main things. Oh, the irrigation. We got the architect. He's working on the irrigation plan for Mac right now. We should have it back this week. He was hoping, and that's just kind of here's the first draft, and then we'll all meet and go over any tweaks and kind of see what the expectation and what it would cost, what it's going to cost, and where we're at there. So I'm hoping by the middle of June I'll have a pretty close estimate, and we can start getting it ready to put out for bid, so we can start the work in November instead of in February like we did it since. We can truly do it over the winter time.
When you're designing that system, we're not anticipating going in and replacing that stuff over on the range.
No. That's all. No, we talked about time.
I'm not sure I'd want to do that, waste our money over there.
No. We talked about that. With that all being fairly new too, he said he's going to look at it, see if he can just tie it in.
Just like we did with Sam Titan along that road. All right.
Moving on to text, Seth really wants to convert the tee boxes, the par 3 tee boxes that get so beat up, so much play to Bermuda. Right now, there's always he wants to get on Bermuda so they recover and fill in a little faster. The same thing once we get the mats done here and we see that they're working on the range and that project goes well, we'd like to immediately start on text, do the same thing. Some other notes Seth sent me were springing and sodding Bermuda into the bad spots around the bunkers. He's been working on that. I noticed some the other day where he'd redone the face of the bunkers, the rough, some of the barrier areas in the rough, and the 3 and 8 tees. Extending the tee box on 15 and converting to Bermuda. Finishing the rock wall around 7 Pond. He's got probably 80% of it done. The last 20% is the hardest part. There's a lot of those what do you call it, knuckles or whatever the root tree root. Yeah. Coming up. So he's got to work around that. He's wanting to start the pond on number 3, do the same thing. It does look awesome. Man, though, that's a lot of work for those guys. They do awesome getting that done. Working on drainage for the cart path just to keep the cart path from pulling up the water to the driving range mats. So and then the driving range there, it has no irrigation. It's hard as rock or muddy as it could be. Balls either don't last because it's like hitting off concrete, or they go straight to ground when it rains. So we need to kind of rework that, grade that, and get that landing area in a much better shape.
About the range mats at both places.
Mhm.
Is there any pushback on doing mats? Will the mats be used 100%? Will there be times that we use the grass? The mats are just there while the grass is
I'll
recovering.
still be on grass most of the time, maybe one day a week.
Okay.
I mean, it's crazy what, as many people that hit right now, if we took them off the grass one day a week, what difference that would make? And then if
Okay.
it's really wet, we would put them back there in the wintertime. We would, it's wintertime, it gets, of course, it doesn't grow. So every divot stays there the rest of the winter. We'll be on mats most of the winter.
Of course.
Yes. So,
Okay.
so that way in the spring, we're not starting with dirt. We actually have grass left. Starting over. So. Then here, Auburn Hills, the mat's getting done. I think we've talked about everything here. Motivation improvement. So, I really went out with him last week with Dalton, and we looked at some of the no-mow areas, native grass that it doesn't look clean. It looked, and I understand the purpose of that it should have native grass. You look at pictures when it first opened and everything was uniform. Well, now there's 85 different grasses in there, weeds, whatever, and it just don't look right. So we identified on every hole, he knocked down probably a huge section just about on every single hole. And it looks so much cleaner now. He's got staff now to handle the weeding, get caught up on. This golf course goes out both directions a long way, and there's a ton of little stuff in between holes. And just there's a lot to keep up with. It's not just straight across where you just get on a mower and you just go. It's a lot different. So you got to have staff to do that. So he's gotten the staff built up and kind of working more on that detail stuff, edging the bunkers, the greens that are right up against the water, like on 18 with the pond and the wood wall there around it. I mean, just keeping that clean. Little things like that that make all the difference in the world. I mean, last year we were fighting the golf course part, fairways, greens. The good news is this year we're fighting the detail stuff around that. That's obviously a much better problem to have than fighting the actual golf course, but it still makes a huge difference. You talk about curve appeal and first impression, and you can drive between holes, and if something doesn't look clean, you already think, wow, this place is not very good. Even though that's irrelevant to the way you play golf, it's the impression. So working on those details, and I think we've come a long way just in the last 2 weeks, and it'll continue to improve.
Do you get any comments from anybody about this course being not walkable, not walker friendly?
Today,
Today you've had that.
a lot of people want a bridge.
And that's what I was gonna say. Is there anything we could do that's not a lot of money that would help make some cut throughs? Because that's part of the problem. Green to tee, you almost have to follow the path every time. And
Yeah, a lot of those areas have there would have to be some kind of bridge or walkway.
yeah, like between 5 and 6.
Technically, that I would, they're saying get the Corps of Engineers involved, who knows what that turns into. We could do some little thing, make it a little bit better, but it's not an easy walk. Even with those, I mean, you're going straight out, straight back. A lot of, especially where you're turning the corner to come back, it's a long walk to get around or whatever to get there.
Yeah, it's like it wasn't built to be a walking course.
Yeah.
One design.
I think brings it, cut across on 5, 6, because you forget to the restroom.
First things first, I'm totally with you. Yes.
Play the back tees. You got to walk back there anyway.
That's right.
I don't know about you guys. You'd go in the woods. I don't worry about that. I'm just saying.
Yeah, there's some little, I actually had this conversation that I was at Tex and someone asked me about walking the course. So,
I had heard it from a group of ladies
okay.
a week or so ago that
Yeah.
they would come out here more often because they're walkers. They love to walk. So they go to Sim and they go to Mac and they don't come here.
They did put one between 12 and 13.
Did they?
Or 11 and 13. 11 and 12, yeah. Before you had to go all the way back and come in. Now you can go right up there.
Oh, no, I see what you mean.
Yeah. So, yeah. And areas like that. And also there's a floodplain here that we can't, we're real picky about what we can and can't jail to put in there. So,
Just something to think about.
yeah. Next item, I had upcoming projects. I don't know why I didn't come out with this, but any other questions or ideas, thoughts, something else you want to see?
Well, we're getting under control the weeds out there. Clover, there's quite a bit of clover on courses.
Here?
Now, all over.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, here, Sam had a lot of it.
Yeah.
I had a lot of it. Still got a lot of it.
Yeah. I mean, Texas probably doing the best with the clover right now. They're they're in a pretty good spot with it. Here we were talking, there's still clover that needs to be addressed. So there's been a lot done. There's still plenty to do. So
Yeah, so
spray.
Aaron was doing a lot of spraying in the rough out there today.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that he's probably spraying more for clover.
Yeah, it just got out of hand. I mean, they're a little bit behind on it.
Yeah.
Quite a bit of it out there.
Well, so any
Any other questions?
or comments, suggestions would be great.
Yeah, upcoming projects,
Like I said, I don't know about that, but that's kind of what we,
that we just went through what's coming up, so.
yeah. The next item is to introduce Reggie, and we locked him out, so we'll try again at first tee next month. He said, I'll text him, he said, I'm already at home, you gotta try again next month. So.
Maybe we should go meet him at his place.
Yeah.
That's all happened to Corey.
I was gonna ask you, Jeff, are you gonna publish that, like, make
Yeah.
sure the public sees all the good stuff?
Man, so I made that for Golfer Appreciation Day, and then with the 8,000 other things we took out to the range, I left that sitting in here and didn't use it. So, yeah, we definitely want to repurpose that. We've had it posted in here for people. It's by the F&B where people can see, and I've actually had people comment on it. But yeah, I want people to know, and it also holds us accountable. Like we've already put it out, we got to do it next, so it's good. Yeah. We'll probably try to get the Facebook views up to 3 billion or whatever. And we'll post something like that. So,
Yeah, I'm guessing now that we've got a lot more summer help on, we'll probably clean it up around the maintenance buildings and some of those places that got real out of hand with lack of help. I mean, it's hard to take care of areas out there where you're working out of your shop, but when you got other things you gotta do on a golf course, but now we're staffing up better. And we'll probably start cleaning that up and
I know we've talked about trees a lot before, but I noticed when I played sim last week that windstorm made a lot of limbs fall. I mean, I know they were out there working on it that day, that Tuesday,
right. Yeah.
but are we any closer to getting forestry out there?
They're slowly, I mean, they'll show up, not one of the 400 we need done, and then, not. They'll come out, they can't stay around. I mean, they can't do it all. They're just doing, they identify the worst thing, boom, and then they've got 800 other jobs they got to do, so. That's a couple of big storms at night, really it helps us out. It knocks a lot of that stuff
Yeah,
down.
because a dead tree's not dangerous, but a dead tree with limbs hanging off of it
Yeah.
is. So,
Mac had a lot of limbs down after,
oh, yeah.
I think that was it wasn't this weekend, it was a weekend. Ron, he sent me a picture with about 8 trees down. I won't repeat every word he said in the text, but he said, here's a Facebook post for you. Post these pictures and put the following text. The maintenance crew at Mac will not be taking care of the course because they will be picking up trees for the next 3 weeks.
Something that we might look forward to the future. I mean, that I personally would like to see us try to get back to the old staffing that we had. We're not totally reliable on bringing a kid in off the street,
So,
I know that they had to cut because of financial reasons and various things that happened, but they used to be staffed a little bit better than we are.
So-
I'd like to see us get back to.
I'm glad you brought that up. With Reggie on board now, I've talked to him and I've talked to Mr. Manning in finance about what I've tried to push this the whole time. We've talked about it, even as separating golf from everything else since we're an enterprise fund. So I've at least got the okay to draw up this plan, and we'll look at it at least. So what I'm doing, I'm working on that plan. It's kind of a complete restructure and separation from everything else, where golf will be its own staffing situation and not tied into everything else. But I'm in that plan. I'm putting together what that would look like, the benefits, the risk, all the customer service impact, all the different things. I'm doing a market analysis, not just Wichita, but regional and nationally, and what other courses are paying for the same type of positions. looking at staffing levels at other courses. I've got through NGCOA, I've got a compensation report they do every year that really is a huge tool for me to use to put that together. So I'm working on that. It's going to be a pretty big document. I don't want to present that, a week. If I do it, I want it all the information where they look at it, know that the effort was put in and we've thought about this. So I'm hoping to get that in the next week or so. Let's send that to those two people, get a meeting together with Reggie and Mark. We go over and see if we can get any traction to make that happen. So we'll see. That's the biggest problem we have. I mean, we still would have to go through the hiring process. That wouldn't change, but at least we could determine what we pay, not be stuck to making the same as someone in aquatics or whatever. You got somebody does a great job and is doing 8,000 things a day and controlling the 3-ring circus here, and I'm paying them $10. They're not going to do that. Why would they? So I think if we can get just anything to change there would be in the right direction. And that with that plan, it would be drawing a new structure of like how many employees, where do the employees need to be, what are the positions. So
But I realized there was a financial struggle for several years, past 10, 15 years, where we had a downturn in golf, plus we had some struggles within the organization itself for one reason or another. So beside the point, that we're at a point where I think we need to start recouping some of what we lost in order to maintain what we're trying to do. I mean, it's inevitable, but you gotta have people to do it.
you can plan all,
Expectations are created, so.
you can plan all the stuff you want, but you got to be able to execute.
Well, that being done, I think we've already spoke with both Trevor and Sydney. So
Yeah, I mean, they're working.
unless somebody else has something else that they might want to bring up, discuss.
All I could think of for this meeting was just updates. I mean, like I said, when I'm not getting complaints other than tea times, that's never gone away. People still, that little lady today that was furious, so she's gonna read a
Do
tea
you have
time.
any way of tracking if people are using somebody canceled, so the blast goes out?
No, that's the
No
one.
way to track
The system that's built into this, I talked about going with that outside company.
Yeah.
What I loved about them is their back end, you could look and see exactly, they even broke it down to, did they book it days out where it probably would have filled anyway? And what was really the benefit, or did they book it within an hour, 3 hours, 5 hours? And you can really nail it down to see how much is this really benefiting. This one, there's really no back end data that I'm back.
Just wonder how much is being used.
Yeah, I know it is, but I don't know. I have no way to track that.
I mean, the goodwill factor of that has got to be pretty high.
Yeah.
People like the idea
Yeah.
that that's there. I've seen that. That just getting used.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I know that it is. I just don't know how. I'll play around sometimes. I'll just find a section of times that's booked and I'll just notify me if it happens, and it works. But I mean, really, that's the only complaint I can. I don't know. I don't know what you hear. I mean, the only complaint I've gotten lately is just I can't get a tea time in the leagues. I mean, the leagues is going to be.
That is going to be forever.
The leagues is. I still feel like we need to revisit that next year. I mean, we're May now, but the leagues there's too many. It's unbelievable.
I've gotten a lot of compliments for.
Well, now's the time. Let's talk about it.
We get a lot more compliments about the comment and communication. Yeah, the tea times is probably the thing that I get the most complaints about. Yeah, outside of that, most people just call, ask the questions on the website. So I try to prod everyone to just look through the website as well.
Surely our views are so much higher.
Yeah, because I mean, the information is there, and they want the answer. Some people just want to talk.
Oh,
Takes too long to get it up with my dial.
Mike's got his TV remote. Hello. Oh, What I should have brought this up on the announcements, our junior tour, the competitive 6-week tour that we do every summer, it starts at Texas Sunday. We've got keep
77.
we can more kids in 77, 78, but we've got we could have 120 kids. I mean, we could fill up the entire T sheet on a Sunday, every Sunday with the amount of kids that are trying to get into that. And we, I hate to not let them in, but we can't have I don't have space for them. Yeah.
I literally had to ask Sydney, what do I say to these people?
Yeah.
Because like, they're like, I'm just trying to squeeze in.
And
I'm like, it's full.
that's been open. It's been open for a while. It's been full for a while. And then of course this week we get a flood of people, that last minute they want to get in it. We've turned down a ton, but I mean, last year it was the biggest. I think we had like 55. A couple of years before that, I think there were like 26, and now we could have 100. I don't know how many we could have. It would be a lot.
At least 100.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's every week?
because
We
I
do
had
it 6 weeks in a row, every Sunday at one course. So it's a text, and then it goes to Mac. No, text, Mac here. I don't know. It starts at text. We'll just leave it at that. But yeah, we go different. And then the 7th, there's 5 age divisions. There's 3 boys, 2 girls age divisions. The 7th week is at Tex, and it's the Junior Wichita Cup is what we call it. And the top 4 from each of those age divisions play in the Junior Cup. And it's pretty new. It's like their own little FedEx Cup, and they get serious about it. The kids aren't the problem. We have to control the parents. We're all the kids.
so
Yes. Yeah. But, yeah, this has not gotten nearly enough attention. Graham Schmidt, I don't know if you know Dylan Schmidt, he's the football coach at, his son won Junior World as a 9-year-old at Pinehurst last year. Like he won, and he won by 5 shots. Like he won, like, I can't stress that enough. Junior World, people from Asia, people from every continent on the planet came to play in that. He won by 5 shots. And he's playing it, and it's just a tremendous kid. I mean, it's family great, but I never really saw anything. I don't know. I tried to send it in. I called his dad.
Our local papers.
That should be a huge deal, and it got no attention. But yeah, we've got some really good junior players around here, and a lot of them are playing in our junior league, which is good. Next year, I'm working on potentially switching it over to, it's called the Under Armour Junior League next year. The reason I want to do that, we would still have control. I would be the league manager and I have to go through a background check and all this stuff, but they can qualify for national level events. With our, you win, and that's it. You can put it on a resume, but that's it. So with that, if I can get that converted, at least they would have chances to qualify for bigger events and go on and get national recognition, which would be great.
I was out in San Jose last year, man. Well, juniors will continue to start or little tournament or what they were doing, but talking to the guy, kid's father, and didn't want tee boxing on the chin. And said, "Oh, how's he been doing?" I said, "Oh, not too bad." Teed off and almost put it on the green on 10 from the blues. 14. Yeah, he probably looked at me and said, "Yeah, he's pretty good."
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Talent. There's a lot of talent out there.
That was nice.
It's fun too. I mean, I've only been here 3 years, but seeing these kids that I've seen now for the 3rd year and watch them, there's a couple like that with a girl that I can think of off the top of my head when it was the first tournament she ever played in. It was my first guy. Terrified, hit it all over the place, was taking a 10 on every hill. Now she's shooting 38, 9, and it's so fun to watch that. It's cool.
I did have a question. Any more thought about balancing the number of rounds per course? Right now it's Texas and Auburn still has a higher number than San Jose.
Yeah, so after that meeting that we had where Mac was so far behind, I didn't factor in. They were the only course that had done their aerification, and I think I thought of that right at the last minute. But you lose 5 days where everyone else was open and everyone else and all those players were going to the other courses. that's 1,000 rounds that they're gonna lose. But the next month, the other courses would go through this. So that one slide that we saw was a little bit skewed just because they did it the last week of March. Everyone else did it the first, second, third week of April. So yeah, they're not that far off. And actually, Mac, I was talking to Steve at Tex, and somebody had called him from the other course and said, "Hey, Mac beat you guys today," and he was like, "There's no way. Like nobody beats Tex." He looked it up and he's like, "Okay, it's time to get serious." Like, you know, he takes that serious. So, yeah, I think overall, I don't know what that slide said now, but they're not that far off from each other. Yeah. And honestly, here there's so many leagues that if we didn't have the leagues, this would probably be number one. But you have to block the tee sheet to prepare for shotgun at 4 o'clock or what. I mean, it's and you know my thoughts on that. It kills this place. Yeah.
I think you'll probably see it level out a little bit more because course conditions drive a lot of the play, and as you improve Sam Park.
Yeah.
You're gonna see some, they're gonna pick.
Yeah, people haven't wanted to play Cinemac the last 2 years so much.
Right. That's right.
Now they will.
Yeah.
No,
Mac.
people keep saying, "Well, look, the Mac's really good this year." Well, they go play.
Yeah.
So same thing happens after we get Sim done.
Mac, last week, I had a buddy in town. We went over there, or anyway, late in the afternoon, and I was kind of got to a good point to stop for the day. I'm like, let's go play a few holes. We drove the whole course, couldn't find a gap anywhere. I just thought, we'll find a gap somewhere and we'll jump in, play 2 or 3 holes. There was not a gap on that golf course. Yeah, it was frustratingly good. Yeah, so, yeah, and he's spot on. Those courses are coming back and people are, every course I go to now, somebody mentioned Mac, which is great, because last year people would mention Mac and I didn't want to hear what they said.
Last year.
Well, that's, yeah.
That, you play a golf course that has more trees where the ball gets bouncing around and you're looking at, that drives some of it too. People don't like to play where they get penalized so much. So, and you know, golf course conditions may be good, but if you're hitting it in the woods all day long, you lose its
A lot of people,
luster. If you go to Texas, you can hit it sideways pretty bad out there and not have to lose a golf ball. So,
It's funny though, the women are just the opposite. They don't like tax because it's long.
well, Texas is too long for the ladies.
Yeah.
Right. I agree with that.
Sim is the short version of Tex, kind of, so
Yeah.
you can still hit it all over the place.
Right.
Trevor can play with a dozen balls at either one of those. courses
Bears.
most of the time.
All right, any other points of interest somebody might want to bring up? If not, I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
So moved. Second. All in favor? Aye.
We'll definitely remind you, but first tee next month, that'll be fun.
Unless I'm a drive.
And
Selfish.
I'll ask again, please be thinking over the next couple of weeks of anything you want to add to the agenda. Get to this time of year. I don't know what you guys want to know. Think of stuff.